All right, Chad. So I looked at that video, the Basecamp like quick hits video, and I'm impressed, by the way, that you're able to cram so much stuff in there in a short period of time. Clearly, it's too many things, as we probably knew it would be. So I thought we could walk through it, or play it, basically, walk through it, and then see what's worth keeping, and then maybe figure out ways to stretch this out. So maybe we could fit 20 things in 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes versus whatever, I don't know what the count is right now. Is it 30 things in 60 seconds or something like that?
Yeah, it's 30 in 2 minutes.
30 in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
So maybe we
very
could take
rapid fire.
20 in 2 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
More like the pace we did on the hay video. So let me share my screen and turn this off, sorry. And you can see it?
Yep.
All right, cool. So I'll hit play and I'll just kind of keep stopping it as we go and see what works. Okay. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is, I'll show you right now. Here.
30 Basecamp time.
So I don't like the word hacks. I don't want anything hacks in any of our stuff. So we'll have to figure out what to call this, but to me, it's like, this is really like a bunch of shit Basecamp can do quickly. I don't know what we end up calling it, but the reason I don't like hacks, just FYI, is hacks just has this connotation. It's like shortcuts, and it's like shortcuts are cool, but hacks feel like you have to work the system in order to get it to work for you. And I don't like that connotation or the word. So we'll find something else.
Okay.
This is the least important part of this whole thing, obviously, but there we go. Okay. Here we go.
Hacks in about 2 minutes. Drag projects on top of each other to create a stack of relevant projects grouped in one folder. Hit Command J or Control J to quickly locate a person, project, or recently visited.
Okay, sorry. Let me go back to that start there. By the way, I'm not sure. We don't need to worry about this right now. I'm not sure what the right thing to start on is. Okay, we'll figure that out. But let me just start back here again.
Drag projects on top of each other to create a stack of relevant projects grouped in one folder. Hit Command.
So that's good. I think that's a good one. We're going to want to keep that one.
A or Control J to quickly locate a person, project, or recently visited page. Click on.
So one note about this, and this might come out as we slow this down. One feeling I had going through this video was that it felt a little bit different. The hay video, I think you did these like side swipe transitions, and it felt like we're on to the next one. Like we're on to the next one. Like something ends, we're on to the next one. A lot of these feel like they're fluid and they kind of transition, and I'm not sure when the feature ends and a new feature starts. And I know when that is, but I'm thinking about this from the point of the viewer, where like right there, I was thinking like, so this feature is actually done here. But then the way it's transitioned, it's like into this. I'm like, is this? And then it's this. So I think we should figure out ways to like do the side swipe, which I think worked really well with hay.
I
know you were doing that because you were trying to like cram it all in, but since we're not going to do that.
No, I actually agree. And when I rewatched this, I was feeling that way. I was like, when does one end and begin? And one either we do the swipes, or we another thing we could do is like have like a ticker on the lower left corner of the screen, maybe, and it just like with a little sound effect, it just like switches to the next feature with like a note. So it's like one
ding,
one stacks, and then it like flips, ding, and then it's like two, like search for people or whatever we call it, and it could just like go through them. And because I agree, the swipes clears the slate, and you just know when
mentally
you watch it.
too.
Mentally, and I think because I was trying to do so many at once, I had to group these in a way where if it was swipe, it was almost like you couldn't absorb what was on the screen. And so as you notice, like some of them are like kind of chained together.
Yes.
Based on, if they're relative to one another. So that might, and all that to say, like that might be a way to do that.
I like that idea too. We should I would say, whenever you do the second revision, perhaps we do half of them with swipes and half of them with that timer effect, even if it's rough, just so we can see what feels good. The only thing I would say about having like a label in the lower left corner, I guess that the audio component is important, but what's nice about the swipe is like, we're just on to the next thing. Like you can't help but know that. When it's a timer and there's a title, you have to notice that the title changed.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like work. It's work. So we'll play with it though.
It's a good point.
The other thing I was going to say is the Hey video, I felt, and this probably came down to the fact that you had more time. Certainly did. I feel like you were able to hook these features on to scenarios that you might find yourself in if you're a customer. So I think having a few, 3 to 5 seconds more per, might be like, when you need to get around quickly, that kind of thing, versus like just hit Command J and you can jump without like the setting it up with the why. So I think if you add a why to each one of these at the beginning, I think it'll really help. And I think you didn't have time here, so I think that'll be helpful.
That's right. Okay. Because yeah, sometimes it's like in the Hey one, it starts with a question, need to da 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 da, and then it's just question and answer, question, answer, swipe, question, answer, swipe. That's kind of the format. So maybe looking at it that way.
It was so good, I thought, that maybe we just follow that format.
Sure.
Maybe this is QA swipe, or maybe sometimes it's like setup scenarios or scenario setups, show it off, swipe. They don't have to be questions, but I think establishing like, what am I about to show you? And again, hooking on to something in someone's own head or experience, going, yeah, sometimes I need to get around quickly. Here's how you do that in Basecamp. Oh, I don't have to go back to the homepage and find the project. I can just hit Command J and type it. Great. That kind of thing. So,
sure.
Okay. So Command J is great, though. I think we want to highlight Command J.
Recently visited page. Click on someone's profile pic to ping them, see their assignments or what they've been up to.
So that would be a good one. It's like, it's pretty much wherever you see someone's face, or you could be like, sometimes seeing someone's face like trips or makes you want to get in touch with them or something. I don't know how to really put it, but it's kind of like you see someone, just click on them and then you can connect with them directly or something like that. But okay. I think this is a good one because it's a little bit hidden. It's not very clear, but it's not maybe a top one. So maybe make this like tier 2 or something. I don't know. We'll see what kind of categorization we come up with as we go here.
Okay.
Public link and share it with someone not on Basecamp. Hit the activity tab and get an email with a daily summary of everything that's happened. Set up.
I would skip the public link's actually kind of interesting, but I think it definitely needs a scenario. Like, got a client who doesn't want to log into Basecamp, no problem. You can just share a link with them, or something like that. Like, that's a scenario you want to play with. Or just need to share one page with someone who's not on your Basecamp project, no problem. Just grab a public link and that sort of thing. So that would be actually good. And then I like how, by the way, I do like how there's this fluidity where you're here and then you go up there and you show the next feature. But it definitely ties them together and chains them together in a way that I think isn't clear. But it was cool. I like the way you did this, even though ultimately it's too fast and too crammed. But there's some neat things. I think maybe we could line up a few features that do, maybe you get to this a bit later in this, that do make sense as a fluid multi-scenario situation. This one doesn't seem to be that, but
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Hit the activity tab and get an email with a daily summary of everything that's happened. Set up.
So I like, so the daily summary is great. And I would be like, if you want to start your morning without having to go check a bunch of things, just turn this on and you'll get an email summary in a single email telling you everything that happened yesterday. That's kind of that's the why behind it. Like rather than having to go check a bunch of notifications and bounce around between a bunch of things, just get an email summary mailed to you every morning and just make it, read it with your morning coffee or whatever the hell you want to say. So.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me just kind of jot that down. Okay, cool.
Cool. I'm going to back up a little bit here because, okay.
Everything that's happened. Set up weekly automatic check-ins for your team to see what they've worked on instead of doing it in a meeting. Click on some.
That's great, by the way. Oh, this is
name to see all the recent answers on one page in your Haste.
That's great because that's actually like 2 features in one, and you set it up. Like rather than having a meeting, there's always the rather than or instead of. I think that's what we're always looking for.
Okay.
Cool.
Hit don't forget to mark a
Hang
notification
on, let me just back up here a little bit.
on one page. In your haystack, hit don't forget to mark a notification so you remember to read it later. Or filter out notifications you don't want. Hit the X, scroll down here, then hit stop notifying.
I would lose the filter out ones. It's not interesting enough.
I'm sorry, which feature was that?
This is the clicking the X, and that you're like, click the X, then go down here, then click stop notifying.
Okay.
I would just, you can kill that one.
Skip, stop notifying. Okay.
Yeah, so that's it, like, oh, both of them. So
Oh, both don't forget and stop
no,
notifying.
don't forget's good. But the
Okay.
next part, so starting at 38 seconds, where you go,
Hit the X, scroll down here, then hit stop.
hit the X, scroll down here, hit stop notifying. We don't need that part of it. Don't forget's good though. And if possible, you can show the other places where don't forget, or you can set don't forget. You can like ... menu in a comment or on a campfire and mark those as don't forget too. You don't have to just do it from your hay menu.
Oh, okay. Okay. Not just from the haystack.
Yeah, you can do it in other
So-
places.
Expand, don't forget, to other uses and places. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you might see a comment somewhere and you want to reply, but you don't have time right now. Just mark it don't forget, and it'll pop in your hay menu so you'll see it later or something like that. So you don't lose track of it.
Okay.
Fine. Turn on focus mode to pause notifications so you don't get distracted.
Focus mode's good. I would show when you're in focus mode. Oh, it's sorry, the faces are in the way on Zoom. There we go, focusing. I would say, hang on, let me see how you said this again.
Distracted.
So you don't get distracted. So what this does, it turns off notifications and badges and everything. So like nothing will, no one can take your attention or something like that.
So you don't get distracted.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone know you're out of office. An out banner then appears over your profile pic. Include dates, so when they click on your avatar, they know how long you're gone. In a project.
That's nice. I would show that though.
So that, okay.
Yeah, because that's really cool. And just like show the profile modal and then zoom in on the dates, like out these days. You could even say, and if you try to mention someone, it'll even tell you when they're out. I would show that.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that is a cool thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's really handy actually.
Plus, when you mention, it tells you what days they're gone. Okay, cool.
What's cool about that is that's a good example of, I think we can string that one out to like 8 to 10 seconds, and it's a very thorough, like, same with don't forget, like you can do it here, but you can also do it here and here and here. So whenever you see the finger with the string on it, that means don't forget. Like, we can tell a much broader story, but still just in a handful of seconds.
Okay.
All right, let me back up so I can see where we started here. Okay.
In a project, quickly turn tools on and off. Just click set up tools, then flip the switch. Click rename to customize the tool title. Add doors to outside services so they pop up on your project homepage. Even customize the image on the door. Create and end dates to your.
So I like the tool tour and the doors tie-in. It just felt fast. So I think just if we slow that one down a bit, because what I felt like was like, I'll show you how I felt here, or I'll explain. So it's like
click rename to customize the tool type. Add doors to outside services so they pop up on your project homepage. Even customize the image.
There's like a lot of clicks, and it's like, whoa, what's happening, right? It's actually all quite logical if you slowed it down, but I think in that short time frame, it's like I kind of feel scrambled. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. There's also a lot of zoom. The other thing I would say is because it's everything zoomed in, I lose a little bit of wayfinding. I'm not sure where I'm at because I don't get the context of a full screen and go, oh yeah, that's where that is.
Okay. Is the wording in it fine? It's just more of a pacing thing?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Project homepage. Even customize the image on the door. Create start and end dates to your project. Then your project will appear in the lineup where you.
Well, hang on.
Bird's eye view.
Well, one thing, so I think you missed something there that we should talk about, which is start and end dates.
Then your project will
see the date bar up here.
Oh, you want to show?
You get that too. Yeah, so like when you have start and end dates, you can see they'll show up right at the top of your project with a green line showing you where today is. Now you have a sense of how much time is left, how much time has passed, and how much time is left.
Okay.
And then I like the parlay, kind of the roll into lineup, because that sort of makes sense.
So what, I'm sorry, what would you call this? It's like a ticker at the top.
Let me just see, like
Giving start and end dates to your project. Then your project will appear.
then create start and end dates to the project. They'll appear right above the screen, or right above it, right at the top of your project. You can maybe do a circle around it.
Okay.
And the green line shows you today, so you know how much time has passed and how much time is left, something like that.
Okay. Green line.
Green line's today.
So you know how much time has passed and how much is left.
Yep. And then I like the roll into lineup, because it is associated with that.
In the lineup, you get a bird's eye view of all your projects. Even add markers to signal important upcoming dates. Click on a project to be taken to it. Check in on projects without getting.
Okay, hang on. Let me just scroll back for a second. So we're talking about start and end dates, which is good.
You're in the lineup where you get a bird's eye view of.
I would like try to tie that together. So you get a bird's eye view of all your projects with start and end dates. I would make sure you say with start and end dates on a grid. And I like that you can add important markers for important dates, whatever, however you put that. I just think there's a little bit of a disconnect. Like the only this is a bit of a technicality, but it's still important nonetheless. The only projects that show up here are projects with start and end dates. So maybe there's a way with the language to talk about, and you can see at the top of the project, and then you can zoom out and see all your projects with start and end dates on a timeline. With the green, and this is the other place, this is part of the feature, to tie it back to, and the green line is today. Just like in projects, here the green line is today, spanning across all your projects, that kind of thing.
Okay, hold on a second.
It's kind of like an unfolding. Like by simply adding a start and end date to a project, you get like all this stuff comes into focus. It's this idea of unfolding more functionality with just doing one little thing, and you get a lot more for it. Let me know when you're ready, and
I'm good. Let's keep going.
Okay, cool.
Your projects. Even add markers to signal important upcoming dates. Click on a project to be taken to it.
Real quick, pause it. I might add an asterisk on screen on the markers because it is an admin only feature.
Oh,
and I don't want people to watch it and then go and be like, why can't I add them? You know?
Sure. If you want to do that, that's cool. Totally fine. I would skip the click on a project to go to it. It's not important enough. Yeah.
Skip click on project.
I mean, you can do it if you want to, like, for transitional purposes, but I don't think you need to
we'll do that's the filmmaking rule, right? Show don't tell. So we'll just
show don't tell. Yeah. Okay. Here I am doing all this telling, but okay, here we go.
Well, in revision sessions, you gotta talk. So
in the editing room, we have to talk, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
We tell.
All right.
Of all your projects. Even add markers to signal important upcoming dates. Click on a project to be taken to it. Check in on projects without getting constant updates by switching to just follow. Grab files in a ping or.
I would say here, I like the just following, and on this project thing, this is an important feature. It's important, it's kind of subtle, but I would say, like, if you just want to follow along without getting notifications, just mark yourself as just following. Then you can check in, like, it's like, then you can check in whenever you want versus being pulled back into the project whenever something happens.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Are you writing this stuff down, or are you typing?
I'm writing.
Impressive. I can't write. It's just, I'm so jealous of anyone who can write. I just can't write. I can't write fast.
It's very sloppy, but I was required to take a keyboarding class in high school, and I like somehow like got out of it because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like a really bad typer. I mean, I can type fast enough, but I like make errors all the time. Like it's just not worth
Yeah.
it.
That's like me in swimming. I somehow like I hated swimming growing up, so I got out of swim class. We had like a pool at our high school,
Uh,
and I suck at swimming now, and I wish I was good.
yeah,
So
that's one of the things. Like I'm sure, like
yeah,
every year, you're like, this is the year I'm gonna like improve, and I do that
yeah,
with typing, and I never do anything.
yeah. I want to do that with handwriting. I just like I even got like a nice pen. I did the whole thing. I'm like, I'm gonna write 15 minutes a day. I'm just gonna write whatever comes to mind. It doesn't need to make sense. I'm just gonna write so I can practice. And like, no,
Have you
hand,
ever read the book The Artist Way?
no.
She has a really Julia Cameron, that's the author. She has this
Okay, I'm
whole.
gonna write. I'm gonna write this down, Chad.
Oh wow, write it down. It's gonna take
Hang on.
it's gonna take 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. We're gonna have to do yeah.
uh
The
so it's
Artist's
called
Way.
The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And
I just finished my letter T. Okay, onto the H now. Go ahead.
okay. Um Basically what she talks about one of the methods she talks about is she calls it morning pages, where it's like the first thing you do when you wake up is you write 3 pages and you don't stop, and it doesn't matter what you're writing. You just go, like even if you're like, I don't know what to write here, this feels weird, I feel awkward, but I'm just going to keep going because that's what I'm supposed to do. And what I guess it does is it kind of just gets out the gunk of your brain, and then a lot of the time those sessions can turn into like these very inspiring, writing sessions. And most of the time they don't. Like the point of it is not to get to the inspiration, it's just to like get all the like weird whatever's floating around in your head like out, so that you're like open to other ideas. It's a really good exercise.
It's funny. There's so many things competing for first thing in the morning. It's like that sounds like a good idea. I'm also supposed to take cold showers and do breathing and then do yoga and do meditation. First thing in the morning is like the worst time of the day, actually.
I know. Just to be fair, I read that book before I had a kid, and first thing in the morning, and I was a freelancer, so it was like, oh yeah, waking up at 10, drinking coffee, all chill.
Exactly. First thing in the morning now is like my kid wakes me up. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I have no first thing in the morning.
I know.
Anyway,
It's such a like miracle if you can just get that like that 10 or 15 golden minutes of just like something before the kids wake up. But all right, well, anyways, we can keep going.
I will look up the book though. Thank you.
Yeah, look it up.
I did write it down. Okay.
Oh wait, real quick, one more thing. I started the Rick Rubin book.
Oh, good.
It's good. I'm really enjoying it.
Are you reading it
It's
or
like,
listening to it?
I'm reading it, and I like that it's short chapters. So I'm like, it's not a book I want to binge read, because I want to like let whatever I read kind of sit with me and like think about that throughout the day.
Yeah.
It's good for that. So
I'd also recommend getting the audiobook. He reads it, and it's like every little essay is like a little meditation, and he's got such a great voice. This low, deep voice. It's nice to listen to. I have both the book and the audiobook, and I find that I take them in differently, actually. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, cool. Glad you like it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Check in on projects without getting constant updates by switching to just following. Grab files in a ping or chat. Just click see all files posted here.
So this is a good example of, by the way, I'd use a better example where there's more files. But this is a good one. It's like looking for a file someone pinged you 2 months ago. Like, you don't need to scroll back and find it. Just go to all files in the ping or the chat, and it aggregate, and there's just a single library of every file that was shared or something like that. Like, set up the scenario, and then go, we've got the solution. And then again, I would use one with more files.
Okay.
Yeah. Great feature though. And one of those like, oh, I didn't know that existed. Great. I think the big thing, whenever possible, if we can always pitch these as like hassle savers. To me, it's like a lot of people talk about time saving. I don't really think time is the problem. It's hassle.
Yeah.
It's like hassle saving. Like scrolling back 2 months to find something, that's a hassle. It doesn't take long, technically. I mean, it could take like 8 seconds or 20 seconds, but it's just like, it's a hassle. So anyway, okay.
Cool. All right. That makes sense though. that scenario. Okay, cool.
And in general, I would try to paint this with the hassle saving brush everywhere we can.
Okay.
Navigate to other project tools from anywhere by clicking the quick jump icon. Create project.
That's great. Simple, short. That's like an example. We can actually nail one in 3 seconds.
Yeah, so it sounds like some of them don't always need a scenario because it's just quick, easy, and understandable, but some of them do. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily every single. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are just like that's just like, oh, that's what that thing does. Great.
Yeah,
You know?
that's I think that's like the like sort of like tickle I'm looking to like get in someone's brain. Like, oh, that okay.
And you could just pin this on to some other one and go, oh, hey, by the way, if you ever want to get around quickly, if it's exposed, if you're looking at a screen and it's exposed, you could make this one, you could attach this one to another one that's unrelated.
I mean,
This
that's
one
kind
just
of
has
what
that
this
sense
is,
of
isn't it?
like, yeah, maybe here. It's like, it just has that sense of like, well, here we are. Let me just run it by you since it's only 2 seconds anyway. You
Yeah.
don't need like a whole big story.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
By clicking the quick jump icon. Create project templates instead of recreating the same workflow over and over. Do this with to-do list templates. View to-dos is
That's great because templates are a meaty feature. Everyone understands the concept of a template and you just show that it's possible. Like we could maybe string that one out a little bit more or stretch it out a bit more, but that one just has a lot of meat in it visually. And it's a concept people understand. So the fact that, oh, and we've got those, great. Again, if there's anything to, if you find yourself making the same kind of project over and over and over, you can save a lot of hassle by making a template. We could maybe throw that in there if we need to.
Okay.
But that was a good, simple one. I'll just back up so we can start fresh here. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm good.
Okay.
view to-dos as cards instead of long lists. Add info to multiple.
I like that. You might want to say something like, if you're more of a visual person or something like that, you can view to-dos as cards just to give it another beat or two.
Yeah.
So, just stays up longer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
And also, what I would show is I'd do that and I'd show you can drag the cards around to reorder the lists.
Okay.
You can even say it's a much easier way to move lists around by viewing them in cards and then dragging them around.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
To-dos at once.
Let me just kind of back up here.
As cards instead of long lists. Add info to multiple to-dos at once. Just click the menu, then hold Command-Shift or Control-Shift and click on the to-dos. Then do one action to all of them. Bookmark any page you need.
That was awesome. Straightforward, tight. It runs a little bit longer just because there's more action, but it doesn't feel like it needs any more explanation. It's really nice.
Cool.
The only thing, if you wanted to add, if you wanted to, you could say, you can also move them together and copy them together and archive them together and delete them together or something, that kind of thing. Change the date.
Just expand on the menu that appears essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we do, what is this? An assignment?
Then do
Yeah. You do an assignment. So you can assign them. You can also change the date and move them and archive them and copy them all at once, whatever, if you want to get another beat in there.
Okay. I'll just say expand or illustrate options in list. Cool. All right.
Cool.
all of them. Bookmark any page you need often. Find it in my bookmarks in just a couple clicks.
Great. Make sure that there's more bookmarks.
Okay.
On the screen, just so it's, realistic. I've got like 25 or something, but just make a bunch. I would encourage you then to, just for sake of demoing, I believe these are ordered alpha. I can't quite remember actually by project name. So you might want to find a project with an A, B, or C or something. So it kind of shows up near the top of the list. So you don't have to go digging for it in the demo, but I'm not sure if I remember exactly how those laid out, but great.
Latest draft of something in my drafts. Instead of clicking through whatever project it's in, see what you got to do in my assignment.
I would skip the drafts one.
Okay.
Just not Interesting enough.
Apps. Instead of clicking through whatever project it's in, see what you got to do in My Assignments, then prioritize them and up next, so you know what to focus on first.
That's great. How did you do that though? I mean, I know how it's done, but
see what you got
did
to
you
do
skip?
in My Assignments, then prioritize them and up.
The arrow. Okay. I would say like, click the arrow to put them up and up next, you know?
Okay. What is this assignments? My assignments.
Yeah.
Just
That's such a great feature. I feel like we don't talk about this one very much. I would also go through the tabs here. You may have to set up some more demo data here, but you can also see assignments, things you've assigned to others. I would forget the dates one. I would just say like, here's my assignments. You can also, by the way, see things you've assigned to others. You know, and click that tab and you can assign all those to me for the demo if you want. You know, I don't know what demo data you're using, but if you need to find someone to assign them to.
okay.
I'm not going to do them though. I'm not doing them. So.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Clicking through whatever project it's in, see what you got to do in My Assignments, then prioritize them.
You know, something that's actually interesting about drafts. Sorry, even though, you know, I would do something with drafts actually, but I would do it, I'd come at it from a different angle. Okay. What's actually interesting here about drafts is this screen right here, where you can share a link. So what I would say is, if you're working on a draft you haven't published yet, and you want to get someone else's take on it, save a draft and then share a link to that draft with somebody so they can give you feedback. That's the thing that's interesting, is like you can share an unpublished draft with someone else prior to it being published. There's a good story there. A lot of people want to have someone look something over, need to get someone's eyes on it, need to get an approval before posting, that kind of thing.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, cool.
In. See what you got to do in My Assignments, then prioritize them and up next, so you know what to focus on first. Have a list of your assignments emailed to you every Monday morning to evaluate your week.
So that's great. I would just, you know, gang that on to, as I mentioned, just kind of like talk about this tab as well, and then maybe finish with this.
Okay.
And it's like, hey, just want to get a list of everything you have to do this week. Just, you know, click this and you'll get a single email, nice and fast, or whatever. I don't know.
Evaluate your week. Add steps to cards that require a few tasks, so the workflow lives in one place. And finally, get a list of all recent updates you may have missed from us by going to your homepage, then typing bulletins into your URL. Okay.
I didn't even know they had that, or we had that.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, oh, that's, I mean, we don't really need it, right? Because we're so on top of what's coming, but
Yeah. You might want to say, hang on, how do you say it though?
Page, then typing bulletins in one place. And finally, get a list of all recent updates you may have missed from us by going to your homepage, then typing bulletins into your URL.
Updates you've missed from us. You might want to say something like, we're always improving Basecamp. If you ever want to see what's new recently, or, you know, something like that. If you ever want to catch up on all the new stuff, just, you know, or maybe you missed one or something, you know, these come into your, hey, I don't know how to phrase this quickly, but like come in your hey menu. If you ever missed one or want to see something that happened before, just type that in or whatever. I don't know. We'll have to kind of figure out how that feels.
okay.
Okay. If some of those flew by a little too fast for you, there are some links in the description that'll walk you through exactly how to do it. Or play this video back at half speed.
I like that suggestion, by the way. Although, of course, may not have to anymore, but I thought that was kind of clever, actually.
We hope this helped up your Basecamp game.
Yeah, because I could see like, I guess I could see like someone wanting to see it and being annoyed that they have to like keep going back versus like, oh, if it's half speed, you get, because some of the things go so quickly, you know.
Yeah. So was there anything in here that you didn't get in? Because I know we had that long list. I didn't review the long list before talking to you.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Let me pull up the list.
Here, I will stop sharing my screen. Maybe you want to pull up the
Okay.
list on your side.
Okay, let me pull it up. Here we go. I'm gonna share mine. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you see this?
Yep. And scroll down a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom into. So I did actually end up doing a lineup. The ones I struck through are the ones I took. Let's see. I guess
You did
I
add
ended up
stuff.
doing latest activity. I didn't do like this. So it's like because we talked about going through some of these.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
So I just didn't do
I
that.
would swing through those maybe.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like I found myself, if you click on activity, like here's your activity. Here's everything that's happening across every project you have access to. And by the way, we also have other reports at the top, like overdue to-dos and someone's activity. You can just like click into those maybe. We don't need to like walk through them, but
Yeah.
something
Just
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Go back again to your list.
And
Yep.
then so I did line up. We didn't do activity. I did do start dates, end dates, and we talked about that.
Yep.
Send link to login. I think you'd said just skip that one.
I would do the clients one. The clients one's like a
Okay.
key feature in Basecamp. And the key thing is inviting clients to a project, and then you're in full control of what they can see, and then show how when you post something, you can say who can see it, just us or the client also. And then just to be sure, on everything in Basecamp, there's a little flag that says the client can see this if they can see it. Or can't see it. I think it's can't. I forget exactly if it's can or can't, but there's a little flag on there. So I would just run through that. That's a good like 10-second.
Okay.
10-second one.
Well, especially now that we've kind of seen what really fast is, it sounds like we're cool with a little more space. Obviously, we still want to be succinct, but like, it doesn't have to be 5 seconds max. It could be a little meatier on some of these, especially like clients. There's a little more there.
Yeah. I think if this balloons into 3-ish minutes, or so, and we're taking a few things out. We didn't add anything new really, except clients, but we took a few things out. Some things are okay, they're quick and they're sort of daisy chained together. Scroll down some more. I feel like if we can't get back to top, there's some more you didn't do here, back to top, which we don't need to do. You can scratch that one out.
Yeah, I didn't do that one. I just didn't strike through it. And then I didn't have to do show up in the schedule.
That's fine. Don't need that.
Let's see here. All the rest though I did here.
So what I would say is let's do another shot, stretch it out a bit. Let's see where we end up. If we feel like we're going too long, like if it's approaching 4 minutes, we'll just, strike a few more. Okay. But it'll be hard to tell until we watch it again. I know you may have to do a few extra that we end up losing, but I think once we watch it again, we'll go, yeah, that one really lands. That one really lands. This one, we could lose that one if we need to save 8 seconds. And it might just be losing 3 or 4. And if we're like at, 5 to 10 seconds per, 3 or 4 is a pretty big saving. So.
Okay. I mean, yeah, again, hard to say where we'll be, but 3 to 3.5 max sounds like the bar. Okay. For this next round. Yeah.
I think that would be a good place to settle in. And then let me think about a better title card. You don't need to worry about that. Let me think about that while you're doing the new cuts. I'll think about how to frame this whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. Well, this gives me plenty. I would say get to check in with Glenn on some stuff, but again, hopefully I'd like to have this wrapped up by the end of the week. So we'll keep you posted.
Thanks, Chad. All right. See you, man.
All right, cool. Have a good one. Later.
Okay. Take care.